Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in and welcome. Today is election day. It's gonna get crazy. Anytime there's fear, uncertainty, doubt, controversy, chaos, precious metals rise. And today is definitely going to be one of the most controversial, chaotic days of the year. And that's talking about pandemic included. It's not just the United States, it's not just the American people that are affected by this. Everyone across the globe is watching very closely because this affects everyone, not just markets across the board, but everyone for everything. There is one common denominator, and that's stimulus. $1 trillion stimulus packages coming out of whose pocket? The people that are $27 trillion in debt with a deflated, almost worthless dollar. Yeah, but it's funny that dollar is still the world's reserve currency, though. What's gonna happen? Where is that money coming from? It has to come from somewhere. It's not coming out of thin air. What are the consequences from that? Weaker dollar pushes precious metals higher. No matter who wins, we can guarantee stimulus packages. One might be a little more or less than the other, but regardless, it's going to hurt the dollar. And anytime the dollar's low, it's a direct correlation to higher gold and silver prices. When the dollar index is low, gold and silver is high, and vice versa. It's a direct correlation. That's a literal fact. So I can guarantee you guys that once the stimulus does go through, it's going to push gold and silver up. So we know that gold and silver is going to be up for at least that period of time from that. Now let's dive a little deeper. So we have a global pandemic, U.S. presidential election, $1 trillion stimulus. Does that remind you of something? 2008 credit crisis, right? Recession slash depression. Right now we're in a recession slash depression. $1 billion stimulus packages back then, $1 trillion stimulus packages right now. But we have a global pandemic and one of the most controversial elections ever. So if that led to $50 silver in 2011 back then, imagine what it could lead the price of silver today. $50 back then with $1 billion stimulus. Imagine $1 trillion stimulus with a global pandemic that is exposed, hurt, and just magnified everything times 10, especially all these other countries realizing how broke America really is. Things are much more severe. So I just made a video last night talking about why $100 silver is guaranteed. I can guarantee $100 silver. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, it might not be next week, it might not be next year, but I can guarantee it will happen. It's not a matter of if it will, it's more when it will. Think about in like 10, 15 years down the line. Think about what silver's price would be. Do you really think in 10, 15, 20 years silver's still going to be $25? Do you honestly think that? No. No. See, we're so caught up in the moment, we can't really look forward. We can't play the tape through. We got to take a step back and think realistically. In 10, 15, 20 years, imagine how much stuff could happen to affect precious metals prices. Imagine how much weaker the dollar will be by then. Imagine how much stuff is going to change. The markets are ever changing, and especially whoever comes out on top is going to heavily be affecting things for the next 4, possibly 8 years, or 4, depending on who wins. So, with that said, we have to be on our A game. We have to be able to adjust. We have to be able to adapt. We have to be able to invest emotionless, basically. No emotional attachment, no matter who you want to win, no matter what the outcome is. You cannot start investing out of anger, out of guilt, out of resentment. That's a surefire way for you to lose money. Probably all your money. You can't get too emotionally attached when you're investing. Other things you can, if you wanted someone to win or whatever. But when it comes to money has no emotion. Money doesn't care whether you're happy, mad, sad, or glad. You gotta think realistically, and that's why a lot of people lost on Bitcoin. A lot of people lost on Bitcoin or lost money investing in Bitcoin because they were investing with their hearts. They weren't investing with their minds. You got to think realistically. Now, moving forwards, no matter who wins, not only from the stimulus package aspect is going to benefit precious metals, but everything else that comes along with it. Green energy from Biden is going to drastically boost precious metals demand, millions of ounces by the year 2025. So we can guarantee that demand's going to be up. Supply is still very iffy, so shortening supply, especially from this pandemic, but a drastically rising demand, and not only just from green energy. We have solar panels, we have electric vehicles, and 5G technology, and all the other things that we're advancing in technologically, right? Silver's using everything, so demand of silver is always going to be there. No, it's not like we're not going to need silver. It's only going to ever be needed more, but the production has been very iffy lately, so that's going to definitely be a strong suit for silver. Anytime someone fears, a little uncertain about the banks, about the government, they turn towards gold and silver, and depending upon who wins, could definitely cause a little bit of uncertainty on that point. Then we have the markets being or getting hurt from. I mean, there's actual countries are actually opting out of the USD being the reserve currency, right? There's countries opting out, and that's scary because there's nothing proving that the U.S. dollar is more valuable than some other countries, form of currency. And that's the scary part, because if the dollar is only worth as much as people think it's worth, that means if people start to think it's not worth much, it's literally not worth much. Look at these third world countries. Their money is so over or inflated or oversaturated. They carry their money in trash bags. They weigh their money on scales because their dollar, it has the purchasing power of like 10 cents. So imagine going to the store to buy something for like $3-4, but the dollar bills are only worth 10 cents, so you have to hand over hundreds of dollars to the store clerk, if not thousands of dollars. They weigh their money on scales instead of that's crazy. And that's where every fiat-based system is headed. It's just going to take a little longer for us because we're a lot more wealthy. And the only reason the United States is the wealthiest country is because we have the most gold. Simple. It's simple as that. We have the most gold, so we have the most power. And it's interesting that if we look at a valuable aspect, that we're going off of precious metals. Does that raise an eyebrow? Think about it. People are trying to say that fiat currency is what you need, but when we're looking at the actual value, what determines the actual value of a country or nation, it's how much gold they have. So why understand? And it has nothing to do about their fiat. So right there, that sentence, knowing that fact right there, should 100% show you that gold and silver is what is valuable and what real money or fiat currency is really worth, which is nothing. They're not going off of how much dollars we've printed, because we can print unlimited amounts. There's no value in that. And the funniest part is that dollar was only created to tell you or to be in exchange for how much gold or silver you can get. So it's literally everything's based off of precious metals. So that's never going to change. Gold and silver has been valuable for 5,000 years. That's never going to change, but the dollar will. So over time, whoever's in power is going to heavily affect, and we have to be able to adjust on the dime. The markets back in the day are not the same as now. Even a couple presidencies ago, the markets were a lot different, and depending upon what they put in action, will be adjusted and different than today. And 4 or 8 years from now, it's going to be different then. So we have to keep adjusting. You cannot use the same formula, the same strategy you did a decade or two ago. There's speculation now. The markets are quicker. A single tweet could send markets flying. Things are much more severe, much more vulnerable, much more sensitive, and we have to incorporate that in our strategy. You have to think about that, because when we're investing, you're trying to invest. When we're investing, especially with the speculation word, we're trying to think about how everyone else is going to invest. Like with Bitcoin, I was so successful because I was thinking about how the majority of people would be investing, and then you can get an idea on which coins would be good, or if the market's going to be up or down. As younger generations, as it's more accessible to invest in the precious metals with apps like Robinhood, the markets are going to be changing, and the people behind, that are investing are going to be changing, and they're going to be younger. They're going to be more sensitive. They're going to be quicker to judge, and you're going to have to incorporate that in your investment. That means that social media is going to be a bigger influencer. Unfortunately, it's not going to be all cut and dry, whether we're looking at supply or demand on that front. So it's going to be interesting. But regardless, if you're investing in a precious metals, at least you know that you're transferring fake money into real money, and that's the bottom line, right? So I'm gonna wrap this video up. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Definitely need to subscribe, right? I'm posting daily videos, 2-3 videos a day, giving you guys the inside scoop on what's happening. It's extremely important to be subscribed. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. See you guys soon. Peace.